Hello again, Gills fans, and welcome back to another episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It is weekly review, which is very quiet this week, so the main focus will be on tomorrow's trip to Fratton Park. Those of you that were there last season will remember a wonderful afternoon as we came from behind to win 3-1 with around 1,800 Gills fans in attendance. That goal from Connor Wilkinson, that goal from Lee Martin, one of the best away days. Obviously we approach this one in slightly different form, as do Portsmouth, so it's going to be a really tough game against a side that's absolutely flying in League One at the moment. But in terms of Medway messenger, Steve Lovell is adamant that he's not going to change his approach, and the back page of the paper is Lovell, let's go for it. Excuse the croaky voice, I do have a cold. That is why Boz is not with me. Boz, I'm not ignoring you, it's just we've got a house full of poorly children and poorly adults at the moment, and I didn't want to give it to you with the weekend trip in mind, bearing in mind that 3 days before Portsmouth last season, Boz decided to fall down a hill. But I will still be there tomorrow. So yeah, Steve Lovell, Gills, let's go for it. We just do the same thing week in, week out, and we train the same way, and we talk to the players the same way. We keep believing in what we believe in. Understand that, but you have to be flexible. You can't just keep saying this formation will work, this formation will work, this formation will work, because if it doesn't, then you have to have a plan B. You have to be flexible, you have to be adaptable, and I think he is. So that's not me digging Steve Lovell out at all. He goes on to say, I will do it my way, and I've always said to the players, I will do it my way. Everybody has their own opinion, players have their own way of thinking things, and I'm willing to listen, but ultimately I will do it the way I want to do it. Again, I've got no issue with that. He's the manager. And like he goes on to say, buck stops with him at the end of the day. He takes all the praise if we're winning football matches. But ultimately, if it doesn't go right, he's going to be the one that ends up leaving the football club. Which for 1 second, I don't want to happen. I really do want Steve Lovell to turn it around. But as we all know, football is a results-driven business, and we're not getting results at the moment. Finally, from him, he says, if I do it and we get success from it, great. If we don't, then I am the one that takes all the stick regarding what we do on the training ground and results we have. I can't control the performances of players on a Saturday. That is down to them to perform to the best of their ability. So it looks like we're going to go to Fratton Park and try and play on the front foot. Could be interesting. Let's hope that we set up the right way, though, in terms of giving us some defensive stability. I'm thinking back to Barnsley, where we effectively played 4 strikers, 2 from the side and 2 up top, and the game was done, unfortunately, as we were 2-0 down and chasing it. I know we scored late on, but we know if we go there and play as well as we can with the right system, I keep saying it, that we can get results against the best teams. But we have to start doing it. It's all good talking about it during the week and talking about it on us on here, and Steve Lovell talking about it in his press conference, and the players coming out and talking to the media and saying, yes, we know what we've got to do, have to do it, otherwise it means nothing again, because come Monday or tomorrow, Sunday, sorry, we'll be sat here talking about another defeat. So Steve Lovell again inside goes on to talk about players needing to get more vocal. He says we go through things in the week, and what happens is we get caught on the edge of the box with the ball, and then they're at us. He's alluding to Shrewsbury's 2nd goal last week. It's something that we set up in training to try and stop, and it is about people not taking responsibility to do what their task is. Somebody should have been on the edge of the box with Callum Riley. It is up to the players to get that sorted. But then Luke O'Neill shouldn't put the ball in until we are set up properly. He cannot just put it in willy-nilly. If you're going to get a goal from a set play, let's set it up. So is that another player that's taken a bit of a walloping in the press? It's not as big as the ones we've seen in previous weeks, but again, it's naming names, and we all have our own opinions on how these things should be done, and we all have different opinions on it, which is great. But for me, it's just, I don't know, just keep it behind closed doors. All this, we win as a team and lose as a team thing, well, that only seems to apply when we win, and then when we lose, it's individuals getting a rollicking. But Alex Lacey, he writes for the Shouting Men. It was nice to get on the ball and try to find some passes. That's the headline in his column this week, referencing the fact that we stuck to the diamond last Saturday at Shrewsbury, and he played as the holding midfielder in front of Max Amart and Gabriel Zakuani. Talks about obviously going to Portsmouth. We've already been there in the Checker Trade Trophy with a much changed side, and we got absolutely obliterated 4-0, unfortunately. But so did they. They made lots of changes. It's just that their changes didn't really weaken them as much as ours did, and we went largely with a side made up of the kids. But no one likes losing, regardless of what it is. But he talks about obviously it'll be a great atmosphere tomorrow, a big crowd. Yes, it probably will. I mean, they've filled Fratton Park up ever since they left the Premier League a few years ago, regardless of whether that's been the Championship, League One or League Two, and they seem to be on the way back up now, which is great to see because they're a proper football club, Portsmouth. It's a proper football ground as well. Looks a bit patched up and a bit dated, but it's like I say, the best word I can describe it is it's proper. It's a proper football stadium. But in terms of attendance for us, it don't look like there's going to be as many as there was last March. At last count, I think we'd sold just over 400, which is shocking, to be quite honest. I thought we'd take a lot more than that. I know we was allocated over 900, but we've not even reached 50% of that allocation yet, which is a little bit concerning. But that again comes back to the fact that we're not winning enough football matches and people do not want to part with their money to go and watch us get beat. I am parting with money, hoping we're not going to watch us get beat, but it is going to be really tricky. Finally, before we get on to Portsmouth, Josh Rees, I'm finding my feet. He admits it's been a bit of a step up from the National League into League One, and he says, I came back from the injury and from then on I have been getting minutes and playing, and it is just about getting used to it really. I feel like I'm getting there. One of the guys on the bench at Shrewsbury, Fajiri Ochenbery, said he is finding the same thing. I played with him at England C and at Arsenal as well, and he said that the level is slightly different. The game doesn't change though. It's 2 goals, 90 minutes and 22 players. You do get used to it gradually, and once you start finding your feet, that is where you start putting pressure on yourself to make a mark. I think he's been all right. He's had a stop-start, unfortunately, because of picking up that injury late in pre-season and missing the early part of the campaign. And sadly for him, he probably missed the part where we were at our best for that first sort of few weeks, and he's had to come back into a struggling side. But I've seen him a couple of times. I think he'll be all right for us. Thought he was all right against first half against someone. Was it Coventry or Wimbledon? And then he was bright when he came on against Peterborough. Got himself into a good position. So obviously, like the next step is, he said it's to then make a mark, assists, goals, creating chances, that type of thing. But I think he'll be fine. He's only a kid still, and I think he'll push on and do great for us. Right, that is enough about that. Tomorrow we head here. We've already spoken about it. Fratton Park tomorrow, going to be a huge game. Pompey are sitting proud at the top of League One. In terms of them, it don't make pretty reading for us. They have won 8 and drawn 3 of their first 11. They have yet to taste defeat. They are 3 points clear of Peterborough in second. They won again in the week, because obviously we didn't play because our game was postponed until the start of November because of the pitch being relayed. But they went to Coventry, who are about mid-table, and won 1-0. They don't concede many. They're conceding 8 in 11 games. So that's about 0.8 a game. They've scored 21, which is nearly 2 a game. We concede 2 a game at the moment, and score just over 1 a game. So, can you tell where I'm going with my prediction? But anyway, team news for us. We're not doing form. I've just done it. Theirs is brilliant. Ours is not. Although we've now got 2 points from the last 18 available, I think, rather than 1. So it's improved a little bit. They've been really, really good. They've got quality all over the pitch. Did an interview for Portsmouth News First, I think they were called, on Twitter. Check them out. In the week, spoke to Hugh, which was really enjoyable. Answered a few questions, and he asked me, one was, which couple of players would you like to take from the Portsmouth squad? Well, I said Jamal Lowe from last season. I thought he was really good against us, took his goal really well. He was bright throughout. But they've got, I didn't name the second one, they've got plenty of quality all over the pitch. I mean, last season they came back up to this level, and was probably a little bit of like a transitional season, getting used to it again, and they finished just outside the playoffs. I had them to finish 3rd this year in my pre-season vlog, season preview. Seen absolutely nothing to make me change my mind. Team news for us though is, it looks like Regan, Charles Cook and Billy Bingham are going to be missing, but apart from that we should have everyone available. So in terms of a team, I'd imagine it ain't going to be loads different to last week because of the fact that we picked up something. So Thomas Holy in goal for me. The back four, Luke O'Neill, Gabriel Zakwani, Max Amar, and Bradley Garmston. I'd imagine Alex Lacey will retain his place in front. So that's a point of the diamond. Then the other three would probably be Mark Byrne, Callum Riley and Dean Parrott for me. And then up front I'd start with Thomas Eves and Brandon Hanlon. They both scored last week. So for me, I think we get them both in from the start, see how they go together. There's been moments this season at times in games where they've done really well. The only concern for me with Big Tom at the moment is that he tends to score more when he comes off the bench. And on that news, Tom, where have you gone? Why are you not on Twitter anymore? I tagged you last week when you scored and ended up tagging some kid who'd not retweeted since 2011, but Tom's obviously taken the decision to come off social media for a little while. I don't know why, but hopefully he'll be back on because he was really good, really interactive. Right. Prediction. I don't like predicting defeats. I don't like predicting negative results, but they are absolutely flying. We aren't. Bottom line, there's no point pretending. I'm hoping we can go there, be resolute, be solid, be disciplined, put on a good show. Because as disappointing as that away attendance is compared to last season, we're still going to be taking around 500. And you never know that, like I've said plenty of times, I've said it already on this vlog, if we can pick a right system and get players in the right positions and they all do their job, then we can compete with most teams in this league. We scored 3 very good goals there last season, and we know how quickly it turned because at 1-0 they were all over us, and as soon as we got that equaliser they looked a completely different side. The back four looked rushed and harried and ill-disciplined, and we went on and won the game pretty comfortably in the end. But I'm going to say Gills will score through Brandon Hanlon again because he likes an away goal. But Portsmouth will get 2. I'm going to say 2-1 Portsmouth this week. I can't see us getting anything unless they're quite a way off their best and we're right on it. And there's not been signs of either at the moment. But someone said to me on YouTube just before I go, if we lose tomorrow, does Steve Lovell need to get the sack? And I said no, I don't think he does, purely on the fact that who we're playing, where they are, their resources, their fan base, the size of their crowd, their budget. They will beat most teams this season, Portsmouth. Plenty of sides better than us. So for me, tomorrow's not the be all and end all. It's almost a free swing. Unless we go there and get tanked 5, 6 and 7s, then I don't think this is the game that decides whether Steve Lovell goes or not, if that's how Paul Scally ends up thinking. But for me, the 4 after that, I think we play 3 that are in and around the bottom half. We've got Southend, I think, coming up at home, which will be the first game back at Priestfield on the newly laid carpet. We then played Doncaster, who are right up there, so that's another one that's... But then after that, we played Plymouth and Bradford. So I think that's a run of 4 games that will maybe determine more whether Steve Lovell's still in a job at Gillingham come mid-November. Portsmouth certainly isn't for me. But that doesn't mean I'm accepting that we're going to go there and get beaten. I don't think he should be or the players should be. But for me, tomorrow's not the game that defines Steve Lovell's reign. It's not the game that defines Paul Scally's decision to sack him if he's thinking that way. And I think the 4 after that could be. If we can turn it around, if we can maybe pick up, I don't know, 7 or 8 points from them 4 after tomorrow. If we do get beat, then I think Steve Lovell would probably buy himself some time. But if we go and only pick up 2 or 3 points, then I think he could be in big trouble. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. As always, keep commenting down below. Tell your friends to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Join the Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter. We like to get interactive and have a chat. We're on Instagram as well. See you tomorrow at Fratton Park if you're going. Looking forward to it. And yeah, until next... Oh, and we're joined tomorrow on the Matchday Live by James and Rees from the Gills Fancast. So be sure to get following them. Have a listen to their podcast if you're not already doing it. And until next time, up the Gills.